Good afternoon. Today is Thursday, January 28th. My name is Lauren Courtenay, and here's what's making news now. Toronto Police Chief Mark Saunders has detailed the charges against 4 Toronto police officers. The chief spoke to media at an early morning press conference today. The officers are charged with falsifying testimony, perjury, and obstruction of justice. A total of 17 charges have been laid. The charges arrived from a traffic stop in 2014 where heroin was allegedly planted in a man's car during an illegal stop and search. The officers are scheduled to appear in court March 11th. Skedline will be following the story. Ontario Provincial Police have confirmed that the man struck by a flying tire on Highway 400 died this morning. On Wednesday, a transport truck was headed southbound when it lost a set of wheels, one of which came in contact with an SUV in the northbound lanes. Investigators are looking into the truck's maintenance records for possible clues as to why the wheels came loose. Now let's head to Rachel for sports.
Thanks, Lauren. The Raps might have to try for a record 10 straight win tonight without star Kyle Lowry. Lowry sprained his left wrist in Tuesday's victory over Washington. Coach Casey says Lowry is a little sore. Tip-off against the New York Knicks will come after the NBA All-Star Reserves announcement on TNT. Canadians Andrew Wiggins of the Minnesota Timberwolves and Dwight Powell of the Dallas Mavericks will headline the Rising Stars Challenge. Wiggins is averaging 20.8 points per game on the season, while Powell, in his first year out of Stanford, is averaging 6.9. The game will feature rookies and second-year players in a World vs. USA format. The challenge will take place on Friday, February 12th. The Cavs' new head coach, Tyronn Lue, has been named the coach for the Eastern All-Star team. The news comes after Lue has coached only 3 games, stepping in after David Blatt was fired. Lue will face Greg Popovich, who coached his 1,538th game last night in a 130-99 win over the Houston Rockets. LaMarcus Aldridge finished with a double-double, scoring 25 points and 10 rebounds. San Antonio has now won 25 straight games at home. Popovich also celebrates his 67th birthday today. Happy birthday, Pop. For the rest of your NBA roundup, Cleveland won 115-93 over the Phoenix Suns. LeBron James scored 21 points before sitting out. Kevin Love added 21 points and 11 rebounds. The Suns have now lost 17 of their last 19 games. Klay Thompson scored a season-high 45 points as Dallas fell 127-107 to the league's best Warriors. Thompson had his second 40-point game of the season and 6th of his career. Shooting 14 of 20 and 7 for 12 on three-pointers, he made all 10 of his free throws and had 5 rebounds and 2 blocks. Steph Curry finished with 14 points and 2 rebounds. The Clippers won again without Blake Griffin, pulling out an 85-83 victory in an exciting finish against the Hawks. The Clippers won for the 14th time in 17 games, finishing off a 5-game road trip with victories on back-to-back nights at Indiana and Atlanta. Jamal Crawford scored a game-high 21 points. Atlanta shot just 42% and turned the ball over 23 times. The Hawks still had a chance to force OT, but Paul Millsap came up short on a running one-hander. Serena Williams is one step closer to a 22nd major title with the win over Agnieszka Radwanska. Williams will face first-time Grand Slam finalist Angelique Kerber on Saturday night. Novak Djokovic advanced to his 6th straight Australian Open final with a victory over Roger Federer. He will play either Canada's Milos Raonic or Andy Murray, who will face off tomorrow at 3:30 a.m. Now moving on from the hot temperatures in Australia to the chilling temperatures in the rink, the Leafs got shut out 1-0 against the Tampa Bay Lightning last night. They go into the All-Star break losing 7 of their last 10 games. In those 10 games, they have only scored 11 goals. The Leafs will try to get back on track on Tuesday when they face the Bruins. For the rest of your NHL roundup, the Nashville Predators beat the Calgary Flames 2-1. Captain Shea Weber scored the game-winning goal in the second period. The Avalanche came back to beat the Kings 4-3 after being down 1 goal in the third period. Captain Gabriel Landeskog and Nathan MacKinnon both scored in the final frame. The Flyers beat the league-leading Capitals 4-3 in OT. Philly winger Jakub Voracek scored 2 goals, including the winner. Andrei Burakovsky led the Caps with 2 goals. All teams are off as they now enter the All-Star break. Speaking of the All-Star break, The Capitals announced that Alexander Ovechkin will sit out of this weekend's All-Star activities due to a lower body injury. Ovechkin's playing status is day-to-day, but by NHL rule, he will have to sit out of the Capitals' first game back against Florida. I'm Rachel Clemens, and that's all for sports. Now let's go back to Lauren for more news.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will visit the grieving community of La Loche, Saskatchewan tomorrow. A 17-year-old boy was charged after 4 people were killed and 7 others were injured during the shooting at the high school in the village. The tragedy has cast a spotlight on a myriad of social problems in Indigenous communities like La Loche. The federal government will evaluate First Nations child welfare services. A landmark ruling by the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal determined current funding is both inadequate and discriminatory, a clear violation of the Human Rights Act. The tribunal will bring together Indigenous leaders and Northern Affairs Department members to address the complaints and develop new funding formulas. The Liberal government has also revamped the assessment process of Trans-Canadian pipelines. The new environmentally conscious process will look at elements like levels of greenhouse gas emissions. The government is hoping this move will restore confidence in the regulation of major energy projects. The new process will begin by imposing more steps on current projects before their construction. 15 cars on a Canadian freight train derailed in Minnesota Tuesday evening. 5 of the cars were put back on the track yesterday, while some of the cars, which carried soybean oil, remain submerged in the Mississippi River. Canadian Pacific Railway has to repair the tracks before removing the remaining cars. Soybean oil, although adding a noticeable sheen to the river, is not actually harmful to the environment. Let's check in with Shania for entertainment.
Thanks, Lauren. I'm Shania Lane, and this is your entertainment news for today. For once, Samsung users do not have to wait. Rihanna finally released her much-anticipated 8th studio album, Anti, only hours after dropping the single Work featuring Drake. As many know, Rihanna is always full of surprises, and this album will definitely shock many of her longtime fans as she takes on her new musical direction. The album was accidentally uploaded Wednesday night on Tidal when somebody bought it and leaked it before it was taken down. Riri then decided to give it away for free to all her Samsung users through her ongoing interactive website, antidiary.com. The artist signed a $25 million deal with Samsung back in 2015. Anti has not been released on iTunes, but the deluxe album is expected to drop on Tidal tomorrow. Kanye took to Twitter Tuesday night to announce he has changed his upcoming album title from Swish to Waves. Rapper Wiz Khalifa then responded on Twitter, inadvertently claiming that rapper Max B started and owns the Wave movement. This began a pretty live Twitter battle between the two rappers, which ended in Kanye dissing his ex Amber Rose, who later had a son with Wiz Khalifa. Amber had the last words, attacking Kanye for his remarks and shaming him sexually. Kanye did not respond to Amber and has since removed his tweets. On Wednesday, he wrote that he still respects Wiz and loves the world. No one is surprised by this random outburst, as it seems to be something Kanye has branded for himself over the last few years. Waves is expected to be released February 11th. It's a boy. Tyra Banks has announced the birth of her first son, York, with her longtime boyfriend, Eric Asla, via gestational surrogate. The 42-year-old American actress, model, and businesswoman has spoken publicly over the years about the infertility struggles she has, revealing that she has undergone IVF procedures in hopes of conceiving, but has had no luck. The couple is very excited for this new addition to their lives. 57 years after the impossibly busty and narrow-waisted All-American Barbie doll was first introduced, toy maker Mattel releases a new line of petite, tall, and curvy Barbie dolls to reflect a changing world. Feminists everywhere are high-fiving today, having long criticized Barbie's original shape as setting an unrealistic body image for children. The new dolls have 7 skin tones, 22 eye colors, 24 hairstyles, and new clothes and accessories. Barbies are available for order online and will reach stores soon. With all the Oscars' controversial drama, it is with no surprise that the casting of a white male to play one of the world's most influential African-American musicians is jaw-dropping. Joseph Fiennes has been casted to play Michael Jackson in a TV program for Sky Arts focusing on a road trip the singer took after the 9/11 terror attacks. Some fans have reacted angrily, although Fiennes claims that as shocked as he may have been to receive the part, Michael was most likely closer to Fiennes' color at the end of his life than his original color. After a 7-month search, the Art Gallery of Ontario has announced its new director. Stefan Yost, the head of a small museum in Hawaii, will become the AGO's new director and CEO in the middle of April. The Grammy-winning artist Sting, known for hits like Roxanne and Desert Rose, will perform the halftime show at the NBA All-Stars game hosted in Toronto next month. Many have taken to Twitter and other forms of social media to express their confusion over the artist choice, comparing it to last summer's Pan Am Games closing ceremony performance by Kanye West. Most people don't understand how 6 out of the 10 top songs on the Billboard charts right now are by Canadian artists, yet we still can't find a Canadian performer for any major events being held in Toronto. For more details, check out Yanis and Eric's story as they go outside for all the reactions to the halftime show. Back to Lauren with more news.
French police arrested a 28-year-old man carrying handguns at Disneyland Paris amusement park today. A police source says a man of European origin had been carrying 2 guns, including an automatic handgun, concealed in a bag that also contained a copy of the Quran. A woman who had been accompanying the man has also been arrested. France remains in a state of emergency since the November attacks in and near Paris last year. The Zika virus is rapidly sweeping through Central and South America. A report showing the virus's links to serious birth defects will be released later this week. In the meantime, the World Health Organization will hold an emergency meeting on Monday to decide if the outbreak should be declared an international health emergency. The last time they declared a state of emergency was for Ebola. Sweden plans to expel up to 80,000 refugees, nearly half the 160,000 who arrived in the country over the past year. The Interior Minister told reporters that refugees will either leave voluntarily or be forcibly deported. According to Swedish media, the government fears that many will go into hiding. The Swedish Prime Minister promised more resources for police working on deportation cases. The next Republican debate in the U.S. presidential election takes place this evening on Fox News. Candidate Donald Trump will not be attending. Trump has a long-running feud with Fox anchor Megyn Kelly, who is set to moderate the debate. It was the first GOP debate in August when Kelly challenged Trump on his war against women, and he began to criticize her role as a journalist. Trump will instead be hosting a veterans event in Iowa. Now over to Yanis for weather.
It's 0 degrees right now, and it's pretty windy, and there's even been a little bit of snowfall. As we move later into the afternoon, we expect the weather to go to +2, and as the evening rolls in, the weather will go down to -3, and it will stay that way until tomorrow morning. Yanis Kamsi, skedline.com. Back to the studio.
Hey everybody, it's time for the 5-day forecast. I'm so excited. What happened to the sun? Anyways, on Friday, we got a high of -3 and a low of -6. Saturday, we got 3 as the high and 1 as the low. We got some snow for you. On Sunday and Monday, we got rain with a high of 5 and a high of 6. And on Tuesday, we get a mix of the rain and the snow with 3 degrees all around. Not the ideal weather for sun tanning, but it could be worse in January. I'm Yanis Kamsi. Back to you.
Be sure to check out skedline.com for an update on our Humber Hawks and other stories. My name is Lauren Courtenay. Until next time.